All right. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Wednesday. Choppy week so far. Yesterday, sell off towards the end of the day. All right. We had this double bottom break right towards the end of the day. Right. I was looking at Qs, looking to play an upside break there. We couldn't get it. Sort of got it, but ended up down 30%. It is what it is. Right, broke that pretty big support, resistance, support, broke down. Right, saw that pretty solid move. News, coin up 3.8% actually. Coinbase gets federal approval for new futures offering, set to tap into 75% of global crypto trading. Right, so if you want to see the news, you can pause, screenshot, whatever you want to do here, or go on to TradingView and just read this yourself. Pretty interesting. But coin, I know, is a pretty highly shorted stock. Honestly, they've been trading in this range for a long time, and we got to keep an eye on it. Anytime it really gets to this 87.6 level, though, right, it kind of pulls back. Right, big rejection here, rejected here, previous support. So if we do push up, I would honestly look to see, how it reacts around that 87, 88 level for a pullback. But it's been in a range for a long time. This is what, people want to see when you want to get into a position when it starts to break a long period of consolidation, right? That's when it can start to uptrend. So we'll see if this could actually catch some attention today. It's up 4%, but, it's barely anywhere in the overall scheme of things. Tesla down 2% on price cuts in China. Right, you could take a look here. Let's see, negative carryover. I want to see the actual prices. Where are they? Here we go. Right, so on its website, standard range starting at 78.5 or 10,000 less than the next version. Where are the price cuts? Can't find it right now, but let's see. Oh, here. Whatever. Price cuts in general, obviously bearish, right? They are down 1.9%. So very, very bearish. Now taking a look at some charts. Oh wait, also BABA is down 1.7% as well. Some news that happened here too. So a lot of names weak here pre-market. SPY, QQQ both down. SPY broke a huge resistance yesterday. Right, this previous resistance as a new support. Weren't able to hold opening below. I'm bearish today, right? I always stay neutral, but I want to see. I'm playing puts. I'm pretty sure. But again, I'm always going to have a plan. I could always change my thesis based on the price action of the charts. If we push up, I'm absolutely taking shorts into this level. This would be a tough level to get back over. So I'd look for puts and continuation to the downside. Same with Qs. We do have a pretty big level below here on Qs though. All right, support. We're kind of sitting there, but we do have this previous double bottom that's going to act as a resistance, right? I was looking for a long over that level and we weren't able to hold. So looks pretty, if that rejects, definitely going to look to take puts into that as well. Okay, so I'm looking at SPY and SPX though at open. That's what I'll be looking to play. Apple looks very bearish too, right? This is the most classic bear flag, you can look for, right? We have previous support, multiple bounces off this level here, lower highs. So, if I inverse this chart, everyone's trading this to the upside, right? Everyone's going long here, right? Resistance, higher lows put in place. So, that's how I'm looking at it here. Right, this is just the inverse chart. Looks very, very bearish. Could easily take puts right at open. Easily. Coin, right, just went over that before. Amazon, we have a triple bottom here, right? We couldn't get that breakout yesterday. Tried to go long through it. Entered long, was up for a bit. Right back to the downside and ended up down. right? Sorry, I was getting a phone call. So triple bottom here, right over this previous resistance. So if this 136.65 level breaks, we got a lot of room to run, guys. A lot of room to run. So look at that on Amazon. Shop, also bearish, right? We rejected that breakout point yesterday 3 times now. We have these higher lows, this kind of flat top here, kind of like a rising wedge. Not a rising wedge, like a bearish flag. Right, and it's pulling back pre-market down 0.6%, opening below this resistance. So this can definitely see some continued downside. Okay. Google in this flag still, but it's at the bottom of the range. We have this previous resistance at 129.04. If that breaks, I think we see more downside and approach this gap to the downside here. Okay. If everyone could drop a like on the video, that would be fantastic. But again, it is Wednesday. Wednesdays are typically choppy, so I would like to get in a trade and get out. And we also have FOMC minutes later at 2 p.m. East. So it's just a data release. Powell's not speaking. So, you know, it's just that data at 2 o'clock. Bino says you need to work on taking puts. You know, you have a bias towards calls. Always look for a chart to have a long part. So, Bino, what you should do is just inverse the chart. Right? Alt-I or Option-I if you're on a Mac. And everything is inverse, right? So if this is breaking to the upside, it's technically puts. Right? So just make sure you realize you can take a look at the y-axis here, the prices, and see, right, prices getting lower and lower. So, you know, another way to do it. But it's just a little tip to help your mind. Okay. Tesla, right, down almost 2%, very, very weak. PayPal, huge sell-off from that resistance, wasn't able to break through. Now back to the lows, big sell-off yesterday, down 6%. Netflix, don't really like the look of. This could be like a little bearish falling wedge. Right, if I was to inverse this, we would go long here, right? We would take technically longs right here, right below this resistance, take calls through, but it's technically puts, so just make sure you're understanding. But this is like a classic pattern for this to go just like this. Right, so that's not a bad short opportunity. Right, we can also use fibs to do low to high. So it's sitting over the golden zone, didn't really pull back all the way. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. But let's take a look at SPY inverse. So here's a SPY inverse. Look at from the right. Usually we would go like this. I gotta change this music. It's literally pissing me off. Right. Usually we would go like that from the highs. We broke that trend, and then we started creating this huge flag here the past few days or weeks, I should say, since like August 2nd. So the last 2 weeks we've just kind of been in this range. Now we're breaking down below it. We got a lot of room to run, honestly. I think we can easily push to this previous double bottom here. Technically double top, but I'm just inversing it. So, right, it looks like that. We can easily push down to 437, I think. Right, resistance, resistance, support. So I'm looking at puts today. You know, we can either take today's expiration. Friday's expiration is not a bad idea if you're willing to, you know, hold a little bit further. Next week also. Not a bad idea. Coin. All right, let's inverse the chart again. Zoom out a bit. Just been in an overall downtrend here. Or I guess uptrend, but we're starting to create that like rounded bottom here, right? So technically this rounded top. So we need to keep an eye on that. SPY looks way better than QQQ in my opinion today. So we'll keep an eye on that. I like how it's sitting below this resistance. I love shorting into a huge resistance like that. Works out a lot. I've seen a lot of 1000% trades like that. Big opportunity there, right? So if we push up, can look for puts. And that's what I'd look for. That's exactly what I'd look for. Why 437 on SPY? Are there no important levels? It's just like the next big level below, right? We have a big double bottom here. You know, levels in between, sure, we can draw, you know, one off this level, but it's just one touch, right? There's really no other bounce off of it. You know, we could do this level, there's one touch, but this one is the most significant, which is why I mentioned 437, right? Resistance, resistance, big bounce off of a support, and a big bounce again. Right, that's why I mentioned that level. Right, not only is that level horizontal, but right, this diagonal level from the lows, right? We bounced here as well, which lines up perfectly, right? So there's confluence at this level, and we bounced again, right? And then this line pulled back, and we couldn't break over. Let me know if that makes sense. Hopefully that clears things up. So, right, you could go back a little bit further and try and find some other resistances, right? Like this little trend here, if I could get my mouse on it. Right, so right there, rejected, bounced, resistance. So let's see if it lines up with anything over here. So it does line up, right? It lines up exactly where we gapped up on June 30th. Right, so we can definitely keep that line there as well, right? It has a pretty big reversal from, you know, the previous price action, so we can keep that line there as well. Right, but that's how I always look for, you know, the most important support and resistances. Okay. Let's see what else we got today. So Netflix, I'll keep an eye on also. That looks pretty solid for a move to the downside. Or 422. Huh. Interesting. Coin. All right, Microsoft kind of looks... Not touching Microsoft, right? We've been trying to play breakouts on this for a long time, and it just hasn't been able to break out at all. Every single pop gets sold off. So we got to take that into account, right? Any single breakout recently has been kind of getting sold off. What does that mean, right? We're starting to downtrend. You know, this could be a reversal in the overall market, right? In the higher time frames. We have been pulling back for a decent amount, and we just broke that previous double top. Right, so that's pretty significant. So next major level below that, right, is this resistance here. Right, previous resistance acted as support. So levels, big levels below. We can use that 441, 437, and then 431. Right, those are the biggest levels below. I'll post the chart in the Discord if you guys want to look at that. Okay. You know, hopefully we can catch some good plays today. Been a little bit iffy recently, right? Market's been very choppy, so just need to manage that downside capital. As always. As always. Let's see what else we got. NVIDIA up 0.8%. Not surprised. NVIDIA has been green when the market's been red all the time. AMD down 0.6%. It's very choppy still, right? Still in this huge range. Okay. Square, just overall downtrending. Not going to look at that. No thanks. I can move this off the watch list. So that's what I'm watching today. Apple, we can watch for puts, or I don't even want to look for calls, right? We are at a support, you know, a big level here, but overall market weakness, been very choppy, right? I don't really want to fight the trend. SPY looks very weak. QQQ looks pretty weak. We have that big support below on QQQ though, 364.7, right? That previous double bottom. But I think what I'm going to be looking for is puts at open on SPY, especially if we push up and start to reject that 443.3 level is where I'll look to take puts. But if we break over that and we reclaim this wedge, I wouldn't be surprised if we push up to 445. So we just need a, right, if this, then that, and play the price action. What questions do you guys have? Any questions? Let's get some comments in the chat. How have you guys been doing? Right, you gotta, this chop, you gotta be risk first. When we start downtrending like this, you gotta be risk first. You have to be aware. When you're trading, you gotta be a robot. If you're not a robot, you're gonna get socked in the face. Got my my jet fuel in front of me, my coffee, ready to go. Ready to go. So I saw someone just post this in the Discord. The video flagging, he's on the 1 hour. To redo this chart, let's take a look. What? On the 1 hour? Doesn't really look like. It looks like the past 3 days though. Confused of how you're getting that. I don't really see much. $15. Are you looking at like this price action? I'm assuming maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he's looking at this, but it doesn't really look like anything too special, right? We kind of have these lower highs, but that's really it. Still, nothing really there. Yeah, I see he's using extended hours, which I'm not a fan of. But everyone has their own preferences. So this Netflix looks really decent though. Right, I like how we have this previous support, acted as resistance. Right now we kind of have this flag here. So definitely can look for a push to the downside there. So that's what I look at. Apple and Netflix top watches at open. Tesla just been very, very weak recently. Very weak. So we'll see. We shall see. That's really it. If you guys have any questions, now is your time before I hop out of here and set up the Zoom. Again, Fed meeting or Fed minutes at 2 p.m. East. Just a data release. Powell's not speaking, so definitely need to be aware of that. Afternoon's likely going to be choppy. It's also a Wednesday. Wednesdays are typically more choppy. So need to always be aware of what's going on in the market. Okay. Always need to be aware. One minute. I will leave for you guys to drop a comment if you guys have any questions about a specific chart or something. IWM, also weak, right? Breaking below, previous resistance, wasn't able to hold here, right? Reclaimed, but pulled right back, and now it's down here pre-market, so. Yeah, watching SPY put stopwatch. Maybe I'll trade SPX. Okay. All right. So, with that being said, I appreciate all you stopping by. If you could drop a like on the video before you head out, that'd be fantastic. I will see you guys in